Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Boost by Gear. I know it's been a little bit since I made a video, but I'm starting back up, throwing a couple videos up for you guys, getting some content out there for you. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be installing a Speedfactory tucked radiator in a 92 K-Series hatchback that's sitting right here behind me. So we're going to be putting this radiator in this car today. It's got a regular radiator in it right now, just a regular K-swap radiator. So he's actually having some cooling issues with it. So he wants to switch to this radiator because it has dual fans and it just has a bigger surface area to cool. And hopefully we can get this, hopefully we can get his coolant temps down to 180, 185 degrees. Right now it's running somewhere around 220. So I'm going to throw you guys on the tripod and get a time lapse going of what I'm doing, and then we'll get into the install video. So this is the radiator we're going to be putting in it. It's made by Speedfactory Racing, part number SF-06-034. So there's a couple different part numbers. This one is the K-Series with 32 millimeter hoses. So you can buy this with AN fittings on the end of it to make your coolant hoses AN, or you can just buy it with the regular 32 millimeter ends on it, so you could just put regular silicone hoses on it. But this is basically how it comes packaged. You get two spout fans that work very well. And as you can see, the radiator comes with a really nice shroud and all the bolts and everything, so you could bolt both of the fans on it and get it out of here. A nice Speedfactory Racing logo on the front and a couple big mounting tabs for it. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that comes in the box. So since this is the K-Series radiator, it does come with both of the spouts on one side, and like I said, these are the regular 32 millimeter radiator hose inlets and outlets. So yeah, let's get to lifting this thing up, getting this old radiator out and coolant drained, and then we'll start mocking it up in there.
My appetite, don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby, it's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight.
Alright guys, so per the initial test fit, usually these radiators fit in cars that don't have an intercooler tucked up really close to the radiator support. But I think I can get this in here kind of like that where it's at, but since he has the swivel housing right here, I'll have to loosen this and turn the housing down. That way I can get a little bit more space. Because I put the fan in there and I kind of test fitted it, and it's going to hit this this water neck. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this down and see if I can get enough space for the fans to fit in here. I think the fan will fit okay with the boost pipe right here, but I'm going to actually bolt those both on so I can see if it's going to fit. And then after that we can make something to mount the radiator to the car off of the tabs that they provided here. Alright guys, so it doesn't look like it's going to fit too well between this housing right here, and basically I can only put the radiator as far back as this bar right here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the intercooler and pull the bumper, and then I'm going to cut this support bar right here for the hood latch and actually tuck the radiator up in here as much as I can. That way I can get it away from that coolant neck, and then that way I'll have more room to play with the hoses and everything over here too. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that stuff off real quick, and it'll actually make it a little easier to mount it, because then those mounting tabs will be up against the body right here, and then I can just put a threaded insert in the body and basically bolt it on. So I'm going to get that stuff off real quick, and then we'll see how we can make this fit with the intercooler being right there too. Alright, so now that I got the intercooler off, I just had to cut that little bar out like I was telling you about, and then I cut off the lip that was on the radiator support down there. So I'm either going to cap it with like a 2-inch C-bar, or weld a flat bar to the top of it, or just weld the seam all the way across the bottom, and then I can grind it back down and make it look nice. Give it a little bit of paint so it doesn't rust. But yeah, that fits in there really good, and now we have a lot more space on this side for the fans and the radiator hose and all that stuff. So I'm going to get the intercooler mocked up back in there just to make sure they both fit together, and then I can start figuring out the brackets and get the radiator mounted to the car. Alright guys, well now that I got this section all cut out, I'm going to just pinch this together and then weld this seam all the way across so it's still strong. And I'll probably grind it down, make it look nice, and then hit it with a coat of paint, and then we'll move on to mounting the actual radiator. Alright guys, got this all welded up real nice, and I threw a coat of paint on there just so it doesn't rust. And so the radiator support stays solid, because when I cut it, this is 2 pieces. So I welded it all the way across and I ground it down. And then I threw a coat of paint on it, so it looks real good. So now the radiator is going to sit on top of this, and then I'll make a couple mounts off the sides here to mount it. And then, alright guys, so here's where I'm at. I don't think I'm going to use these tabs on the side right here. I can't really see a good way of mounting them to the car. Plus these ones are already here for the intercooler, so I think they're gonna kind of get in the way. But I do have this 2-inch angle iron that is aluminum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it the same length as the bottom of the cord here, and then I'm going to slide it right here. It doesn't really fit in there right now because it's too long, but I'm going to slide it in here like that, and basically weld it to the intercooler in a couple spots. And then in the front I can drill holes, and then I can put holes in the radiator support right here and put threaded inserts in, and then I can just bolt it on, and it should be pretty solid, a pretty solid mount there. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop these off, get this thing cut, get this piece of aluminum cut to the right length, and then I'll tack this up to the intercooler and get it up in here. You can figure out where I'm going to put my holes and how many. I think, honestly, probably 3 or 4 bolts is enough. That should be enough to hold it in there pretty good. But we'll see what it looks like once I get this cut. Basically this is how it's going to fit in here. Got this piece cut to the length of the bottom of the radiator, and I am going to offset it to the right a little bit, just to get the radiator hose to clear the fan right there. But that's okay, because these are the inlets and outlets, and they need to be in this area anyway. That's kind of how it's looking right now. So I'm going to get this marked, because I have to mark how far the radiator needs to be in, because the intercooler sits right behind it. So that's about where it needs to be. So I'm just going to do a couple marks over here so I can get it all tacked up to the intercooler, and then I'll go ahead and drill holes in this. I'll probably do 4 bolts. That'll make it really strong, and then I'll just put threaded inserts in the body, and put 4 10mm bolts, and this thing will be mounted, and it should be pretty solid. So let's head over to the welding table, get this thing tacked up, and then we can move on to doing the holes in the threaded inserts. And yeah, that'll be it for mounting the radiator. Alright guys, got that plate welded up to the intercooler and all 4 holes drilled out. So I'm just going to go ahead and transfer these holes into the body, and then I just got to make them a bit bigger to put the threaded inserts in there, and then this thing will be 100% mounted. It's going to look real good. You won't be able to see any brackets or anything from the top, and I believe it's going to be super solid being bolted to the radiator support right here. Guys, there we go, fully mounted up. It's got 4 10mm bolts holding it. It's pretty freaking solid, holding on to the radiator support there. So alright guys, well that's going to do it for the radiator install on the Civic. There's nothing really much else I could do. I don't have any hoses for it yet. I just got to wire the fans. That's not a big deal. But yeah, it fits pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a couple more things on this car. I'm going to be doing the rear trailing arms to convert it to disc. And then I'm also going to be doing a brake line tuck. We got a brake line tuck kit from Finishing Lines, so that's what we're going to be using on this car. So that'll be the next video, is the brake line tuck on this car. I'll show you how to install his kit. It relocates the proportioning valve behind the dash, so everything's super clean in the bay. Thanks for watching Boost by Gear. See you guys in the next video.